Hello, everyone, and welcome to Not a Scratch, the only podcast that believes that Scratch is an overpowered move. I am your host, Anirudh himself. Not really doing the PMDM GM thing here because this is not quite a normal episode, as you can probably tell by the title and the fact that this current structure is not how this episode normally starts off. So, here's the thing, and this is just going to be a brief little section here before we get into the actual episode itself. I highly recommend listening to this if you haven't. So here's the thing, this little intro and announcement section in the beginning will contain spoilers, as will the rest of this episode for the entirety of the show. If you have not caught up to the show yet, we appreciate you checking out the latest episode. But if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend pausing right now, going back, listening to the entire series, listening to the arc summary episodes, that sort of thing, because that is ideal in order to get the gist of this. I hope you've done that by this point. So, yeah. Announcements. As you can probably tell, this is not the Arc 4 summary. It turns out listening to over 20 hours of content is kind of difficult, and I have not had the 20 hours plus the ability to write down, which adds, an additional 20 hours on top of it. All of that combined, I've not had the time, unfortunately, to finish that. But that is in progress and will come out shortly, hopefully. So that is still in progress. But the big thing I want to announce here, based on the fact that you're seeing Arc 5, Episode 0, is that this is sort of an episode to explain the changes that happened in Arc 4. This is your final warning about spoilers already. If you haven't, I'm about to get into it now. At the end of Arc 4, as you may know, Ralph left the show. Mansoor left the show due to other engagements and stuff like that. We still love him. He's one of the best, and without him, the show wouldn't be where it is today. So, first off, thank you very much, Mansoor, if you're listening to this. But as you know, with Ralph leaving the show and the way that we've done it with the whole timeline shenanigans stuff, it does kind of make things need to be fixed. That's the best way to describe it. And forget grammar because make things need to be fixed is the proper way to describe the shenanigans that I have forced us into. So as a result of this entire episode, which initially started off as our attempt to do an episode one, you'll notice devolves into basically us just trying to figure out what's going on and recapping things, fixing the timeline, so to speak, so that all of you know where we are as we go through Arc 5 and beyond. Now, in this episode, as a reminder, this is an episode 0. You do not have to listen to this episode. I'm going to say that right here. It's absolutely fine if you skip this episode. What I will say, though, is that while this isn't a mandatory reading assignment like in class, this is one of those highly recommended reading things because we do go through basically an entire history of the show, every action from that first day to today, in game universe wise, all that history and sort of make the changes necessary so that the story can continue going forward the way that we think it should be. Because, as you know, with Ralph no longer being a recruit of the Lost, the idea behind it, and we'll touch into this as we go forward, as Mohammed and I sort of build the story together from the ground up and all the action that occurred between Arc Zero, Episode Zero, and this episode here. Um, all of that sort of gets modified to be rather than a journey of Ralph and Kyle, it is a journey of just Kyle. Now, before you think, oh no, they've just erased Ralph, this is a terrible show, unsubscribe. I will request you to wait a couple of episodes because while Ralph the character may not be in the show, Ralph the idea is still very much in the show, and that is all I'm going to hint at in regards to that specific topic. Um, so again, this entire episode is not a mandatory listen. It's a you probably should listen as we sort of fix everything. Also, as I say this here, and this kind of just popped into my head, this is also, I guess, in a way, a summary episode of everything that's happened. This is a very, very broad summary episode. And so I would recommend listening to the actual ones as opposed to this. But if you do want to start the show, or you know somebody that wants to start the show, and I know I just kicked everybody out that would be at that point, but if you want someone to jump in front, this is probably the episode to do so because we kind of break everything down and build everything back up. So if you want people that have no idea about the show and looking at the backlog and seeing that that's just too much, if you want them to pop in and the arc summary episodes are still too much, they can pop in here and hopefully our community together can help them catch up to the show quickly. That's what this episode is, just to tell you there. A couple of quick announcements. If you haven't seen the Aduran Region Direct, as I've described it, or a sort of explanation about all the different shows that I do and every content related thing, please do so. It's available on our Discord if you're a member of the Discord, which should be linked below. Part of the YouTube channel, which you can check out. Just search Adoran Region on YouTube, and you'll be able to find it there. Or it should the link for the specific video should be in the description below. It just goes over all of the different events and each content thing that I do and the schedule and the plans for that. So that is number one. Number two, which is probably interesting, June 2nd is our 2-year anniversary of releasing episodes, which is wild. We have been doing this for over 2 years, and you guys have been able to listen to us for 2+ years, which is such a phenomenal thing. The fact that the story has been able to go on and there's still a dedicated audience behind us that's still growing um, really does mean a lot. And your support, honestly, is so important. I don't think I'm very bad at sharing my emotions or my feelings in general, but I want you all to know that your support over the past 2 years, whether it's financially, emotionally, liking tweets, random messages on Discord, everything like that, no matter how you've supported us, whether it's for a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a year, the entire 2-year journey that the show has been, if you somehow knew about this beforehand and was supporting us for over 2 years, all of that support is absolutely been wonderful. It's meant so much during the highs and lows of this show. Um, and so I just very, very much appreciate it. As a result, I guess this is also sort of like a surprise because I know you weren't expecting this. So this is going to be slightly different. This is kind of just a vibe sort of episode. Um, and so this is going to be uncut, unedited. You get to see a little behind the scenes of how we actually get into starting an episode and the sort of style that we get into here as we just go through and figure out how the story is going to progress from here. Um, so if I completely forgot about one more thing. I hate to mention this so soon after being like, "Hey, your support's been so great," but also if you could support us more, if you can, if you're willing, if you're able, of course, you do not have to. This show is made free. We try to do advertiser free on the main feed as much as possible because of this. We want to make sure, or at least this is my philosophy, and Mansoor and Mohammed, while on the teams, have not interjected their opposition about this. I really want to make sure this main feed is as purely content as possible. I know I do a bunch of other stuff outside that definitely have, monetizable advertising and all that sort of stuff. But this show is my one section of here is free stuff. With that said, if you would like to pay us or give us money, um, the Patreon is still there. There's a bunch of uploads that, if not now, will be coming out soon. And by soon, I mean like later today, tomorrow, sort of thing. So you should absolutely check out the Patreon. Some of the stuff is available for everyone to see, regardless if you're a Patreon member or not. And there's a few ideas that Muhammad and I are really working into for the Patreon members. Because your support has been able to create commissions and all sorts of different ideas and all. It's been phenomenal. So if you want to be a Patreon member, it's down in the description below. There's a bunch of benefits, different series that are going on, and again, episodes that are coming out this week. So excited for that. And then also, if you want to purchase some merch, we've got our merch available for the entire month of June. There's actually going to be a small sale. On top of that, there's a discount code that can be used until I believe June 11th. That if you use the code update, that's 5% off everything. There is a special pin collection that is pre-order base only that will end. It will no longer. I will no longer be able to guarantee that you get a pin set after June 11th, if that makes any sense. So pre-orders until June 11th, and then afterwards, it's kind of on a first come first serve basis. So if you are interested in purchasing one or multiple pins, this first edition sort of stuff, please do so by heading to www.notascratchcast.com. Go to the merch section, check out the pins there. Maybe if it hasn't been updated, wait until the sale so you can save a couple of bucks. Um, that is basically it. The music in this episode is Glitch City's 1 hour lo-fi remix video. If you haven't checked them out, please do. That is everything that I've got here. Thank you so much once again for your support. We really do appreciate it, no matter how long you've been supporting us. And I guess without further ado, let's find out, what does the Outcast region look like now? Welcome to Arc 5. Probably should have started recording a while ago, but here we are.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway,
It's
we used to know
fine.
what we were doing, and then after a 3 month break, 3 months? It's gonna be
Oh,
3
give or
months
take.
next week.
Give or
3
take.
months.
Yeah.
After
All right.
that, we're kinda just sitting here.
All
I'm gonna
right.
tell you this right now. I'm quite literally going to spend the first 15 to 20 minutes of this episode figuring stuff out with you.
Yep. That's about how start of arc episodes usually go for us.
We could have done this off screen, but instead I decided
No,
let's just do
we're
this during the show.
yeah, no, absolutely. There's no other way we ought to do this.
I also don't need you up anymore.
Okay, so did I close my window? Okay, hold on. So this
window?
yeah. Okay, so this is gonna be like what I normally sound like. Let me very quickly go and close this window. Let's see. All right, do I sound any different, better, worse?
Not particularly.
I figured it sounds exactly the same. If there are any loud background noises, I have a noise gate. They won't get caught.
I will say that when when you closed your window, it had a nice squeaking sound as if you were playing basketball and just had that, like, your shoes.
Oh yeah. My window does sound like sneakers squeaking on her.
Yeah.
I
don't need that.
Funny enough, because it is actually just two sneakers squeaking on hardwood.
My window is literally just sneakers.
Dude, you telling me your window isn't made of shoelaces?
No, I have glass windows.
Glass? How do you run on them?
I don't. It's a flaw in my system. It's one of
Yes.
those things I'm terrified of moving out of the house for. Is like, what happens if I got to deal with? It's like driving stick. It's one of those things I got to learn, and I just haven't.
one of those things you ought to learn at some point in your life, but I haven't got around to it yet.
I'm trying to find out if there's anything in the red book that actually matters, but no, everything in here is about every other show except this one.
Nice.
Shows that exist, shows that don't exist, shows that are in other shows, like
Russian doll shows.
Yeah, I got Russian doll shows.
Yes.
All right, there's an intro at the very beginning. I know that because I thought about it as I was saying it. So.
Okay.
Are we ready to get going?
Are we ready to get going? This is gonna be weird. I'm as ready as I can be.
Great. What's the intro gonna be? Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm figuring out what I'm gonna do.
All right. Gonna fix this real quick. Cool. All right.
Oh wait, by the time this is out, we will have had the end of Arc 4 with an explanation, and the Q&A with probably another explanation.
Yes. Yeah. There'd be at least. Mansoor himself explained at the end of the finale, and then we will likely answer a question at least once.
Yeah. There will probably be multiple if we're being honest.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens.
Dude, what if like we start recording Arc 5? We'll be what 2, 3, 4 episodes in when we do the Q&A, and at the Q&A it's just a revolt of just like absolutely not. We will not listen to the two of you.
It's possible. At which point
the show just ends.
Yeah, if we do, guess what, guys? Actually, the world was saved at that point. The end. New campaign.
There is no. I feel like the revolt would be like, listen, you can't resolve this story. You are not allowed.
I feel like it's much more likely that people would be like, oh no, this campaign is over, as opposed to, oh no, a character is lost, no matter how loved that character is.
Yeah. Oh no, like people will listen to this episode, hear our two voices, and just say, nope.
Not adding it, Chief.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna hate the conversation for a minute. All right, let's get.
Yes.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not a Scratch, the only podcast that believes that Scratch is an overpowered move. I am your host, your PM, your DM, your GM, Anirudh himself, and with me here, eating an entire can of Pringles in one go.
It's me, Muhammad. I am hungry.
Yep. Unfortunately, right now, Mansoor is currently on assignment in Greenland right now. We hope his adventures there are going wonderfully. Today,
glad that he is in the wonderful, warm place that is Greenland, as opposed to the frigid landscape with no natural heat anywhere whatsoever that is Iceland.
Very true. As we all know, factually speaking, Iceland is ice and Greenland is green.
Yep. There's no disputing that
facts.
That's just basic geography, you know?
Yes. Very true. Anyway, welcome to the beginning of Arc 5.
Woohoo!
I was thinking of doing some sort of dramatic intro to this, but frankly, we got a lot of explaining to do. So...
We do?
Like not out of episode, like in the episode. There's no real way to
Yeah,
do that without
that's true. That's true. We do have some loose ends to start stringing together.
loose ends is one thing. This is like 16 piles of rope that we're trying to untangle.
That is also true.
Mixed up like a bunch of cables after going on a long trip.
See, this is what happens when you don't properly countercoil your plot threads.
See, how was I supposed to know that they were supposed to be coiled in the first place? That's what they give it to us coiled so that we can uncoil them, right? Isn't that?
Well, yeah. But then when you're done using them and you put them away for, the end of an arc, you coil them back up. It's just basic plot thread etiquette.
I probably knew how to uncoil and recoil back in the olden days when we were recording regularly. By the way, folks at home, this is the first time we've recorded an episode in anywhere between 2 days and 17 years. It's somewhere in that time frame.
Give or take a couple decades, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, apologies if we don't know what we're doing, but we could do it last time. However, there's an entire summary episode that has recently been released that will fully explain what happened last time. So I'm going to point you over there. Frankly, because to explain what happened in the last episode would be explaining 2.5 hours worth of stuff. And I think the summary episode talks about that in about like 30-45 seconds, maybe, hopefully.
With you having not actually done the summary episode yet, if you as of recording at least, if you manage that,
it ain't happening. I'm telling you right now.
Kudos to you.
There is no way.
If the Arc 4 summary episode doesn't spend at least 117 seconds. Wait, no. That is such a low bar.
For the...
Yeah, no. That is such a low bar. It's gonna be at least 323 seconds.
323 seconds.
323 seconds minimum talking about the last episode.
I will say Arc 3, the summary episode for that, was 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now, there were clips from the arc itself.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying without clips. I'm saying, without any clips from the episode, without any sound bites. Right. Literally just you talking, explaining what is happening in that last episode. If it is not at least 323 seconds, which I still have not managed in my head to convert to minutes.
It's 523.
520. Ooh, that's a high bar. And yeah, I still think you'll go over.
I'm going over. I could probably think of 5 minutes worth without having listened to the entire episode since it was released. Since we recorded it, it's not been released yet. Without even listening to that entire episode yet, I can think of 5 minutes of stuff based on the small segment I've needed in order to do this episode right now. So
yeah, and that was just a fraction of the last episode. The last episode of Arc 4 was a doozy. I also barely remember it because we recorded it along with the other 5 episodes at the end of that arc, all within like 36 hours. It was great.
Yeah. So, but some behind this apologies for the new folks or the folks that don't want to hear this, but we're just about to like ramble for a little bit.
Yeah, if we cover this in the Q&A, it'll get cut, right? Right?
This is close enough. I think it will be. Probably.
What, cut from this episode or?
Yeah, cut from this episode.
Oh,
I think there's enough. It's close enough. It's not like the recordings that we did months ago. Anyway, so yeah, like we were saying, what were we saying? Back to back. Yes, we recorded I think 5 episodes in a 2-day span.
Yeah, it was fun.
Which isn't that doesn't sound impressive, but normally we do a 2 episode in a 1-day span, and to do 5 in 2 days and back to back is much more of a deal.
I think this was the first time that we had recorded 3 episodes in a day, and the original plan and pacing had us doing that in back-to-back days.
Yes, yeah.
And this was for an arc where, for a good chunk of the arc, we were recording 1 episode per day.
Very true. Yep.
So it was definitely. I mean, y'all see how long this episodes were. It was a time. It was a time. A lot happened.
Yeah, as of right now, that finale episode is over 2 hours long. That's before doing any editing. But I think even with the editing, it reaches like 2 hours because we were just trying to. At that point, I think I can't remember. I think there was a time limit for some point, and so at that point we were just like trying to get everything done.
We did
for-
cut it very close to someone's time. I forget
Yeah.
who had the hard out. Someone had a hard out, and we made it within like 2
a minute.
minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Like it was like, all right, we're done.
We're done.
Adios.
Thanks.
Adios. We gotta
Been
run.
nice knowing you. Gotta go.
Yeah. I forget who had the order. I don't think it was me.
Yeah, it was either me or Mansoor. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of you.
But
two had the
we
hard
were
out
able to get
there.
that done. Arc 4, in my opinion, looking back on it, pretty solid arc, if I do say so myself. I think it's a lot better binge than it is episode by episode. But I think
Oh, dude,
our shows
listening
do a
to
great job of
listening
binging
to
things.
that episodically, like as someone who hasn't listened and just played through it episodically,
Boo!
must have been an absolute nightmare because at the end of every episode, it's just like at the end of every episode, it's like, wait, huh? And then at the start of the next episode, like you get like a very like quick brief answer, and then just another question gets opened up immediately before the end
Yep.
of the episode, and it's like, wait, what?
And I think the arc, when binged, does a solid job of having that like the pacing. I guess arc 4 starts off very mundane. Oh, you're just helping out a dude with some tasks, and oh look, we fight a dude and we do this and we do that. Then it ramps up a little bit with that whole Dream World fiasco. Then it really ramps up when like Spiritomb shows up, Darkrai shows up, everything shows up, and then the last 2-ish episodes are just you guys like panicking, punching everything in your path until eventually, resolution shows up. With
Yeah.
the cost that Ralph takes.
Yeah, no, it's like
Oh, by the way, I probably should mention spoilers for the show. I know this is the beginning of Arc 5, but spoilers for the show.
spoilers for the show in case you haven't noticed.
So this
Ralph
Arc
is
5.
gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, Mansoor not here.
Mon-
again,
Mon-
on
Mon-
assignment in
Mon-
Greenland.
Mon- Mansoor's in Greenland, so we don't have Ralph. So that's fun.
Yep. But we are going to get through this, regardless. Shout out Mansoor. Great friend. Talked with him the other day. Things are going legit. Greenland's fantastic. Anyway, there's a show here that we should get started. Maybe.
Yeah.
See, the problem is Mansoor would be like adamant about this starting the episode at this point because we've wasted 11 minutes talking about nonsense. Because he would actually keep us on track, and I don't have the authority to do so.
What do you mean you don't have the authority? You write my paychecks.
Good point.
Wait a second. You should be paying me to be here.
I
Wait
should
a
be paying
minute.
you to be here. I've discussed that. But
Listen, I expect either a check or a brand new set of dice in the mail.
you know what you could do? Check out our sponsor, Insert Dice Company here. The show is unsponsored, and as a result, I'm not going to actually say the company name. However, you want to check out some other shows, cough, cough, wink, wink, etc.
A free plug. You're welcome.
Anyway, all right, let's actually get started
This is
with the
this is
episode.
chaos. This is chaos. This is great.
This is going great. Let's actually get started with the episode at some point.
I'm just gonna throw this out there before we settle in.
Mhm.
The other day we were planning on talking about like planning logistically how we're gonna make Arc 5 happen and when we're recording and stuff. And we went on such a long tangent that we decided to make a whole other show out of it.
Basically,
Is basically what just happened. So,
Yep.
so we're gonna have another show, possibly a Patreon series of us just bickering about paychecks. Expect that in your Patreon
your inbox.
tier feed, wherever you Patreon. I guess. I don't know.
The only place you can Patreon. Find it there. All right, let's actually get started with the episode. Without further ado, anything that I forgot in the not description there? No? Great.
Well, are we doing any sort of recap, or are we just sploosh?
We're gonna dive before we.
See, I already forgot how the order works. I forgot if you dive, then you recap. If you recap, then you dive. If you dive, then you dive. Then you dive, then you surf. I don't remember.
Let's just get in the water first, and we'll figure out how to go from there. All right.
Fair enough.
I got my inner tube.
I can't swim.
Good luck, everyone. Splash. Welcome, everyone, to Arc 5, Episode 1, the official start. If I want to say this out loud so that future me knows, hey, put a timestamp for when the episode actually starts. The people don't have to listen to the nonsense if they don't need to listen to the nonsense. Anyway, Arc 5, Episode 1. As you may have noticed, there are some differences. However, there is always an in-universe explanation. The only question is whether or not I know what it is. Now,
Yeah,
um,
that's the big question.
yep. So where we last left off, I'm going to do part of the summary here. This is like the very end. Again, check out the Arc 4 summary if you have not already, because that goes through the entirety of Arc 4, including the finale episode. So, perfect landing spot. As soon as you exit out of that, pop in here. Everything goes great. So, as we exit out of this conversation and into the universe, we zoom back in. Kyle, you have just reappeared effectively in a bush with Manaphy. What I need for you to do is to explain to us who exactly you are and why there's a Manaphy with you in about 45 seconds.
In 45 seconds. Oh god. So
Time starts now at 17.
Kyle is, our friendly neighborhood Trico who has set out on this grand adventure that he initially didn't want to go on, to basically join a guild, and then ended up joining a secret hidden guild that no one knew about, and is tasked with saving the world before the forces of evil completely take it over. And in order to do this, he needs to retrieve all of these different legendary items by, going around and exploring and finding them, and along the way, helping people, secretly fitting into other guilds, this, that, and the third. And after a fun little delivery mission for one guild, Kyle ended up meeting up with the author of a book on legendary mythical Pokemon, who also just happens to be a member of this secret 8th guild, the Recruits of the Lost. And so now Kyle is basically, tasked with, all right, let me go explore with this guy to try and save the world as a little 10-year-old kid with a lot more experience under his belt than normal 10-year-olds have. I don't remember. Does Kyle know who Ralph is?
Kyle does, yeah.
Kyle is... Oh, yeah. Yeah, this entire time Kyle has had a partner in crime, the person who dragged him into this whole mess, a Machop from his 5th grade class named Ralph. Except Ralph had to... basically, in order to keep the mission going and keep the mission alive, Ralph had to basically just drop off the face of the earth, and, well, not drop off the face of the earth, literally just drop off the face of the earth, metaphorically, in that he had to give up his status as a hero and a member of the guild to actually, prevent the forces of evil from accomplishing their goals and taking over the world. So now Ralph is just all alone, him, and also this Manaphy that somehow just he managed to magically find the egg, and now it's with him, and he is entrusted with taking care of this other child while he is a child.
Yep.
This was way over 45 seconds and a really bad explanation, and that's exactly why it's going to stay the way it is.
Exactly. One thing I will say, you called yourself Ralph.
I did?
About 25 seconds ago.
I went 4 whole arcs! Literally.
There was one instance where you did, but basically, yeah, you have 4 entire arcs.
I went 4 whole arcs almost without incident, and then Arc 5, Episode 1. Oh my goodness.
Exactly what we want to see. All right. Very true. So Ralph is back home. So this is effectively, because I love messing with time and time travel as a whole, this is effectively erased Ralph as a recruit. So the first half of this episode is very much Muhammad and I conversing about what exactly has happened. So, and then you just asking questions, and I will answer them as best as I can, or toss it to you. But the way that I have thought about this is basically, you guys both tried out for the guild, and what has happened is effectively Ralph did not get into... I rather than say not get into any, because he did get into the other guilds when you guys first applied, I'm going to say Ralph did not choose to pick a guild. Okay. And then you kind of got forced into the Recruits of the Lost, so then you secretly do everything by yourself.
Interesting. Okay.
That is how I have
So
perceived it.
that is how because like Kyle's perception of everything is Kyle knows everything from, I guess, timeline A, where he and Ralph both joined the recruits together.
So in your head, you see both timelines, if that makes any sense, and you
Yes.
can tell the difference between them. So if I were to bring a random stranger to you and ask you like, "Oh, how has your recruit bouncing thing been? It's so fascinating. You're the only person that's ever done this." You in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
head know that
exactly.
makes sense, but also it probably would be like a, "Huh? Oh yeah." Like that sort of feeling.
Yeah, yeah, like it'll take Kyle a while to adjust to the new reality of the fact that he's the only one who's been doing everything this whole time,
Yep.
but considering all of the same feats have been accomplished, makes it all the more impressive that he is the only one who's done it. Um,
Yeah.
so that
So
that could mess with Kyle later.
all
But
right. So what we're gonna do right now, you and I are just gonna bounce back and forth another, I guess, summary of the entire show. We're gonna pick some major plot points and explain how exactly that happened, or if you think it happens exactly as is, minus a Ralph.
gotcha.
So, uh, as we've already explained, Arc Zero is kind of you guys getting into guilds. You both try out. That happens exactly the same. All the recruits of the Lost stuff is fine. You know Ralph. He was assisting you. You both did great. You saved some folks. Did all the
Yeah,
wonderful jobs from there. Then
yeah.
afterwards,
Kyle, like Ralph is still the one who managed to drag Kyle into into going to the guild tryouts in the first place.
yes.
And but then when it comes time to choose a guild, Kyle
So,
is fascinated by the idea of the recruits of the lost and like is fascinated by it. And
So this is this is gonna sound really ominous, but it's not actually. So what happens is on that day, in timeline A, which is I guess original universe, Ralph comes running to your door, knocks on your door, and tries to open his letter with you. In
yes.
timeline B, he does not do that, and that apparently changes everything.
And that one little difference.
that the non-existent of Kyle. That one thing changes the entire universe.
It changes the course of history, except history ends up looking really similar, just minus like a lot of like key events in this one character's life.
Yeah, basically. So for whatever reason, you don't know, you at the time especially, very shy, insulated character, probably didn't go to check on Ralph. You just go through
No.
your normal routine, hanging around trying to figure out what to do. Same sort of situation applies where you find the letter. The only difference is in this time, instead of finding the second one, you could just flip it over. Oh, Recruits of the Lost? What's that? I guess Quagmire knows. You go over to the school, hide behind the bleachers, walk over, go through the whole process, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So from there, if you have any questions about the timeline, I can answer them for you because Kyle will know them. So is there anything in
Yes.
particular that's like, how would I have done this without Ralph? If you have any
I think the big thing is the initial like exploration was kind of very driven by what Ralph wanted to do in terms like until the Arc 1 solo episodes.
Mhm.
It felt like Ralph was the driving character and Kyle was riding shock. In terms of Kyle didn't really make any decisions as far as what to do, where to go in a way,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
like I guess like the whole the whole baseball mini arc, the whole what was that other city that wasn't Shady Grove that we spent the first half of arc 1 in?
New Birch, right?
New Birch. Yes, I was gonna say New Bark, and I was like, no, that's an actual
That's an actual
Pokemon
thing.
universe thing.
Um,
But yeah, like going to New Birch City and
it's just dawned on me.
meeting.
I'm gonna actually need my map now that we're not in the future or the past time. Like I gotta actually.
Yeah, this is the first time we've looked at the map in forever. But yeah, like because at the beginning, like the story was go down to New Birch City, stop a train bombing on the way there. I forget why we even went that way in the first place as opposed to going straight over. I forget if it was like a transportation logistics thing or whatever. But like making our way to the Bronze Roses, right? Like that all happened because we went to New Birch City, met Snow, who was also a guild recruit, a guild member
Yep.
a new member. I forget the exact terminology we use for them for the Bronze Roses,
Correct.
and that's how we got there.
Mhm.
That's how Kyle and Ralph got there.
Yep.
What
All
happened?
of that, I guess, in a Kyle-ish way happens. I think instead of Ralph leading the way on his own, s- either Adam or Mrs. Quagmire would provide more guidance to you. Be like, here's my recommendation. Uh, from Adam would probably be like, "Hey, so I know there's a new," because Adam, former guild president and all that.
Yes,
Adam would be like, "Hey, there's a rookie in Newbridge.
rookie.
Hang
Yes,
out with I think that's the term we were using at the time.
yes, that
Um,
is terminus.
there's a new rookie in New Birch. Both of you guys can go to Shady Grove. She's an interesting character. Yada yada yada. Hang out with her. She'll be able to help you. And then I guess you kind of lean more on Snow at this point. Obviously,
Yeah,
that whole romance arc does not exist in this
yeah.
universe.
No, there
What
is
a
none.
shame.
There is
But
there is no. Oh,
yeah, there is no O, I guess.
we have successfully retconned the longest running joke in Not
Oh
a
no,
Scratch.
we are. I think the O still happens. It's just a voice in the distance or something.
Kyle
But
just like Kyle when he thinks back on it has this weird moment of like,
huh?
I said oh, but what was I saying it about?
Yeah, basically. Well, no, you would know that, I guess, because you would know you would know why in Ralph's timeline. In this timeline, it doesn't
Oh
really make
yeah,
much sense.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
Um, but so yes, what am I saying? New Birch City. You bop over to Shady Grove. Shady Grove, do your Shady Groviness. Um, in this instance, your story is the same, in that you hang out there for a while. I think Adam still sends you to New Birch. Um, you still have this inkling like something might be happening at the baseball stadium because of that whole security system thing.
yeah,
Um, and so you go to the game. I think Snow invites you and it's like, hey, this is the only person I know very well. Might as well hang out with Snow. She's also offered you like housing, so I think it's
yeah, yeah. Like the whole like point of like, oh yeah, I guess since we have to go to New Birch and we know someone who lives there, it works out.
yeah. So you go there. The botanical garden shenanigans occur. Bounce over there, bait things up, grab the Gracidia flower. I guess you explain to Aaron that, hey, you're a recruit.
Yeah,
What? A recruit? Whoa. How
yeah.
crazy.
Breaks this shy kid who has no idea who this guy is. Like the whole thing with Aaron
That's
was
very
Ralph
true.
going
Yeah,
like, oh my god, I know who you are, I know who you are, and it's like, oh my goodness, I know who you are.
very true.
And now it's just Kyle just being like, hey, random dude who happens to
Hey,
be very
big
famous, but I have
guy.
no idea who you are.
I saw you in a
Yeah,
newspaper once. You're a good guy.
pretty much.
So that happens. Dreamworld, Aaron gets sent off. You then head to Briny Breeze Island. I think you thought at the time the Aquamonica would be there.
Yeah. This was around the point where Kyle started taking the reins.
Right. So you still go over there. This becomes interesting now. The whole court case thing doesn't really have an angle unless we change it so that you were both the victim, or you were both the potential criminal and the lawyer, which would be
In terms of like,
fantastic.
Kyle is trying to prove his own innocence in this whole thing.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
I think that would feel free to like go against me if you think there's a better, funnier idea. I'm just throwing that first thing out.
I was trying to think of, well, maybe that whole thing just never happened. There was never that detour, and Kyle just like showed up on Briny Breeze Island. But
That's a good
then,
point. Yeah.
but then,
Fails.
because I think the only thing of consequence from that court case was meeting that Zoroark for the first time. But then we met that Zoroark again for what basically felt like the first time again, in terms of getting introduced to that Zoroark as a member of Evil Team Incorporated.
True. Okay. So court case doesn't happen.
So does it never happen, or did Kyle?
I think it makes more sense that it doesn't happen because it feels weird for you to defend yourself in a thing that seems out of character. I feel like, or out of story character, if that makes any sense.
I feel well because like
Or
in that situation, Kyle absolutely would have been like, all right, I'm gonna prove my own innocence, whatever.
that's true.
Right? Like, it's just what led to that situation in the first place, or was that just something that happened to Kyle and Ralph. Like that was
It was
already
something that happened to Ralph because the Zoroark was attempting to stop you guys from doing
yeah.
things on Briny Breeze Island.
So
So I guess that
yeah,
would still happen if you were traveling there because the Zoroark still knows you're a
yeah,
recruit.
yeah.
Okay. So that still happens.
It
It's
still
you just
happens.
defending
Kyle
yourself.
defends himself. He is both the defendant and the defense.
Perfect. I'll be representing myself today, Your Honor.
It's like, wait, you know you have the right to an attorney.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I
It's
got
like
this.
you have the right to an attorney. Yes, but the attorney you gave me sucked.
Ooh, that's interesting. We could. Well, the attorney would have had to been on the ship, right? That was the idea. So
Would the attorney had to have been on the ship, or like was it a case of like Kyle, like while he's stuck on the ship, is somehow like working with not working with Officer North, but kind of has an understanding with Officer North of like I'm allowed to investigate this myself as
Yeah,
long as like you have your eyes on me, kind
I
of
think
thing.
it's one of those
And
things.
and then the court case happens, and it's like here's your court appointed lawyer, and Kyle's just like
No, no, no.
no.
I'm good.
Kyle's just like no, you don't know anything. You
Ooh,
don't
that's
know
perfect.
anything about this case.
This is
Why?
hilarious. This is hilarious because this ties in with like a special episode that I've had where there's a Rowlet that's a terrible
Oh yeah.
prosecutor. So I'm gonna say that like they had to just stress they couldn't get a defense attorney, so they pulled out the Rowlet, and you're just like, nah, bro, I got.
It's like no, no,
You're a
absolutely not.
First off, you're a
This is how I go to jail.
First off, you're a prosecutor. Second off, you're not even good. So third off, bounce.
Yep.
Great. All right, so that happens. You go scot-free. You go into the guild. Your
Was this one the
shenanigans still
Boulder
happen.
Stars?
This is the Boulder Stars.
Yes.
You go through everything perfectly fine. You still find Indy, have a conversation. You go traveling with Indy because the Ralph storyline was heading back to learn something new,
Yes.
and then come back here. So I guess the only thing really is that the dojo hasn't been explored.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Susie
'cause
is a
Kyle's-
little less involved in this universe. By a
Susie
little
is
less, I mean like one conversation less.
yeah. Well, because like the
Susie was
big
introduced in
fortune.
a solo episode.
Yeah, and the big foreshadowing Susie gave was the egg. And Kyle still stumbles across this egg, but there is no shock of, oh my goodness, we knew this was happening all along. Unless Susie told Kyle about the egg. Like, wow.
Susie did tell Kyle about the egg. It's
Oh, right.
that still
yeah.
happens. Susie has another conversation with Ralph about like Aaron's eventually going to be on your team, and here's a key that unlocks the golden mask, which has to deal with an items thing that we're gonna get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so you get the egg. All right, after a while, Zoroark's heading off the island. You in your Batman routine kind of bounce off the island following. I guess you don't have the argument. There's no arguing about entering inside of a house because that's not
No
accessible.
items
Just
get
walk
stolen from any beachfront property.
down. Yep.
This is a clean, lawful run so far.
A clean, lawful attempt of being a bounty hunter. So let's see. Yep, let's go through there. I think you still do your travels. You still get to the city. You know that you have to deliver the message. So instead of you going to Pearl and the message being delivered by Ralph, you would go deliver the message and also deal with Pearl along the way.
Yeah. Kyle just has to do everything.
Yep. You do so. I guess in this instance, this is an interesting thing because the bad guy team shows up, and while you run back, Ralph somehow defeats them. So, how would this work?
Pearl was with who at this point?
Pearl's not been discovered yet. Unless you want to say, I found Pearl beforehand, and then you and Pearl together.
Yeah, I forget. What was the tip-off that we got that there was a recruit in this city that we needed to find?
You overheard a conversation in your solo episode that there was this, best word to describe, I guess, it's not a great word, crazy person that was talking about legendaries, and then moved over to the city.
I think at like Kyle, like at this point, right? Like he's been traveling solo this whole time, like tracking it down, like tracking down this Zoroark, and like realize, or maybe not realize this, but I think like before doing his like courier duty, right? Even though it was an urgent message, I don't know whether Kyle would interrupt that to go get some sort of backup.
You had at that point narrowed it down. It was just Ralph was more interesting of a situation than the house that you knew already had the Pearl person in it.
Yeah.
So you might have in this instance just probably gone to Pearl's place and then let. Ooh, this is
Yeah,
a sticking point here.
because the whole sequence of events that Kyle was at least involved in, going to the city, was Kyle gets to the city, goes straight to was it the city hall or the mayoral mansion or whichever it was,
Mhm.
delivers the urgent message of there is imminent threat from.
In timeline B, we're talking.
And this is in timeline B.
Gotcha. Okay.
Delivers the message from our boy Carlos Costa to the mayor of, hey, there is danger.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but like on the way had heard these rumblings. So as soon as that message is delivered and the mayor's like, all right, you can kind of go, like message received. We'll deal with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess
that's when Kyle goes and tracks down Pearl.
That would have to be the way that it goes, because in this in B's universe, you're taking Ralph's place, and Ralph goes straight to the mansion, or the mayor's place. Mayor's like, "Oh no, this is a problem. Come with me," and then Ralph follows along, and then at some point Kyle eventually joins the circus. So I guess in this instance, the mayor says, "Oh, don't worry, I got this." I mean,
yeah. I think the mayor goes, "Don't worry, I've got this," which gives Kyle time to track down Pearl. And then I guess somehow Kyle is alerted to, oh, the mayor doesn't got this. Maybe.
I guess the mayor. Yeah, I guess the way that this would probably. Ooh, there we go. So I guess you probably are like, hey, I got something else to do, but have fun with that. Both guards go instead of one guard going, and then the last guard runs back in, being like, oh no, danger, danger, danger. Then you and Pearl go. Give them a couple clocks to the head because they were already pretty down and out at that point.
Yep.
And then you win, save the day. At this point, you and Pearl have a deeper conversation. Oh boy, recruits! Wow. And
as those conversations typically go.
Basically. Then Zoroark shows up. You and Pearl fight off the Zoroark. You defeat the Zoroark. Again, we're gonna assume they win the fights that they win and lose the fights that they lose. So you both beat the Zoroark. Zoroark gets possessed. Oh, goodbye, my dear friend. Hole, you fall, Ice World. Ice World's pretty self-explanatory. You just do everything. I guess hyper speed.
I guess the question is, if Pearl helped in the fight with the Zoroark, is Pearl also getting yeeted?
No, because Pearl helped in the original fight.
Oh, Pearl did not help in the fight. It was just Kyle Zoroark one-on-one. Kyle wins, but Kyle loses.
Well, Pearl helped in Timeline A, so I'm assuming Pearl also helps in Timeline B, and then you just poof the same way only you and Ralph poof.
Oh, right. Wow, this was so long ago. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, so if anyone wants an entire series summary, this is what this is.
This is basically what Arc 5 Episode 1's going to be, pretty much at this point.
Yeah, I might do this Arc 5 Episode 0, honestly.
That might be the better way to do it.
Yeah, so we
Ice
have
World
that.
happens.
Ice World happens. I guess you just do everything in a shorter time frame.
In a shorter time frame or in a longer time frame?
You do everything faster, I mean to say. Because I don't want to add days unless you think days should be added. Because this would sound like a days added thing, because you two split up, found each apart, and then came back.
Yeah. I think it's. I mean, unless we are somehow in a time crunch that I didn't know about.
I mean, you are the whole year thing, but.
Well, yeah. But like the pace we were moving at was like insane. So I think like adding however long, like basically just like it took twice as long, because Kyle went and found, I think it was ice, and Ralph found rock, and then they found steel together.
Something like that. Cool. So that journey was, you appear, you walk to a certain point. There's a split path. You go.
Kyle has, I guess Kyle has both dreams that lead to finding the pieces.
I think you had the full dream, so you know there are pieces on both sides, or something like that. You had some inkling, some idea that there are two different, like there's a path this way, a part this way, a part that way, a part straight ahead. So you do each of those. That adds Ralph's time to yours, which I think was 3 days. It was like 1 day It was 1 day there, 1 day back. So 2 days
Okay.
because he was pushing it. So we'll add. Where's my clock? We're gonna add.
Add 2 days for
New
Kyle
time
soloing Ice World.
plus 2 days. Cool. So you do that. You go to the city. You meet up with. Oh, I can't remember their names.
It
off
was
the top of my head.
it was the Heliolisk just Rigel? I think it was just Rigel.
There's someone else involved. Hold
And there was
on.
who was the other one?
Lindsay, the cute one.
No.
Yes. I have
No, my favorite moment of the show never happens.
which is
The leafage
I
into
slam you
revenge.
with-
The leafage into revenge. It never happened.
It doesn't happen in this new timeline.
Oh no.
Tragedy. Yeah, but you meet up with Lindsay. Lindsay leads you to Rigel and Pollux. The war occurs. You guys win in a similar manner. You charge in, beat the Reggies, go through the portal.
I guess Kyle just solo beats Regigigas.
Kyle just beats Regigigas. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Regigigas like send you anywhere you want. I think you.
Kyle
had
was the one who
decided-
made the call. Yeah.
So you pop back to Briny Breeze.
Yes.
At which point you're at Briny Breeze. After a little bit, I need to transfer out. I'm gonna transfer you over there. You meet up with your friends / enemies.
So do HD and Kirk both exist? Like
They both exist. Yeah, they're both still characters.
They're both still characters. I guess it's just HD. Like this whole time, right? Like Kirk has been Kyle's rival, and HD is just kind of sort of Kirk's friend that just
been
hangs
along
out.
for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You hear random conversations about Ralph, and you're like, I wonder how that Ralph guy's doing. Yep. So you pop there, you travel with them. The whole ghost thing occurs in a similar format.
Manaphy still did Manaphy hatch during the ghost incident?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Manaphy
Okay.
hatched during the time. You're still the father, I guess. So Manaphy hatches. You guys all go through. HD and Kirk kind of finishes off that job while you head over to meet Sandora and the Wigglytuff, the author of the Myth book. Again, we're gonna have to get back to items in a bit. Yeah, so you stay the night, wake up, next morning, go over there, and then flash forward to the future where that stuff doesn't matter in this instance. Because now we're flashing back.
Yeah. Everything, like the whole, basically arc 4 in this timeline is irrelevant.
Basically. Except for the fact that you have the fiery drum at this point. You kind of pop in.
So
pop
how
out.
how did Kyle get the fiery drum in this timeline? Celebi must, and why is Kyle in this bush?
Well, you get thrown into the bush when you pop back into this universe. You're outside the house because what you had done is like, hey Wigglytuff, give me a couple minutes, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
you
it's
go,
like
flash out and then flash back in. At which point you don't want to flash in the middle of the road, so you decide to go into a. This is me. Kind of pushing you into it, but yeah.
Okay. So like in this time, oh right, because in this timeline, Kyle's just there doing his thing, and then Zadoran's like, all right, we gotta go, and then Kyle's like, wait a moment, I gotta take care of something real quick.
Yeah, I guess Celebi in this universe.
In this
'cause Ralph is-
in this universe, Celebi has to be the one who shows up and basically is like, "Yo, I need you out here real quick. Like nothing's gonna happen. I just need to make sure that the time space continuum doesn't like."
Yes, yeah. So
I think that has to be the way it happens. I think like with this, because Celebi isn't like transporting Kyle anywhere. Celebi's just like, "Yo, I just." Like, hey, I'm out here. I'm protecting the space-time continuum. Like, I'm making sure that nothing gets messed up, right? So I need you over here for just continuity. For just continuity's sake.
For continuity's sake, I need you to move 3 steps to your left.
Yeah, like it's like for continuity's sake, I need you here now. And
you're just like, what? And then out of
no,
nowhere.
but I think
feels
I think like because the whole thing with Celebi, right, was Kyle had this whole like don't meet your heroes thing with never meet your heroes thing with Celebi. Right? Because Celebi showed up and was like, hey, I know you're doing this important thing, but I need to just whisk you to the past. Trust me. Versus this time, Celebi is just like, hey, I just need you to stand here real quick.
Hey, how you doing?
No,
Big fan.
hey,
Like, dab you up. Scoot over a little bit.
I think Celebi would have explained what happened, but Kyle would have just been like, so like, I don't think Kyle would have ever had that never meet your heroes moment.
Yeah. So
because
well,
Kyle never actually in this timeline,
Yeah.
Kyle never actually got whisked. But also, this is also Kyle with the memories from the other timeline where he did. This is weird. This is a weird little. This is a weird little.
Quirk.
I guess.
You know that you should meet your heroes,
Contradiction.
but also
Contradiction where Kyle was very like Kyle was let down by Celebi in a way, but then Kyle was also not let down by Celebi ever.
I think it's so yeah. As the timelines sort of merge together, you like. I guess if someone was watching you, it'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm your biggest fan. What the devil are you thinking?" like it's just like switch like that.
Yeah, and I guess yeah. So I guess just like right here, it's like, all right, I need right here. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then
Yeah. So
once that flash happens, like this timeline's Kyle gains so much memory, and it's like,
yeah,
oh,
just a flood, which I guess is my explanation of how you fall down into a bush. Not literally, but like more of a
like just
oh
kind
my
of
God,
like a head rush, just like whoosh.
Yeah, basically. And then all of these memories sort of merge together. What other Ralph-related things do we have to retcon? Snow's relationship with you is just you guys are very good friends.
Yeah, Snow and
That's
Kyle
it.
were just chill.
Aaron's relationship with you is more of just you seem like a cool guy, as opposed to I know you through Ralph. The Zoroark is not ripped over power bands; those aren't an issue anymore.
Yeah.
The power band isn't an issue anymore. Is there anything else?
I think the big thing is I think the thing is there is like any character that Ralph and Kyle like any character that Ralph has a relationship with like any character that Ralph established some sort of relationship with. Kyle also established his own dynamic that doesn't really get affected without Ralph being there. Or Kyle doesn't know this character at all or like loosely knows this character and their relationship is not very established.
Yeah.
Right.
Up until this point, at which point now you're like, I'm supposed to know you, but you don't know that I know you for specific instances, I guess.
Well, I don't think there's anyone like that.
There's bound to be someone up here.
Like
I don't know. Scroll.
like-
I'm just scrolling through the list here.
Like the only people I can think of that Ralph has interacted with that Kyle hasn't really interacted with is like his mom, which Kyle just knows Ralph's mom as Ralph's mom. Ralph is that kid from school that made me do the guild tryouts.
Yep.
That's fine. And the sock, who just Kyle still has never met.
Correct.
And that's it. I don't think Ralph has met anyone else
So
that Kyle hasn't met.
I'm going down my character list here. Now this doesn't have everyone. This is missing like Arc 4 and parts of Arc 3, so I gotta go re-update this.
Yeah.
So Smasher the Tyro, that still exists. He kind of just explains who he is to you, as opposed to Ralph already knowing who he is.
Or do they even ever have? Because the way they met was in the basically like taking the train from Thunder Tree down to New Birch.
Oh, that's a good point. So I guess you don't help stall anything. You just find out about the train shenanigans. No, the train blew up though. So I guess the train blows up in a part.
Well, how do they find out? How do they find out about that? And like, because Kyle, like I'm sure like Kyle is the one who deals with that whole situation.
So what had happened
right?
in time?
But I assume
A,
go ahead. Sorry.
in timeline A, what happens? Smasher recognizes Ralph and knows at some point, I forget how exactly, but Ralph is some sort of recruit. You kind of join along. You go to the front to try to persuade things to go faster. It doesn't work. You head back to Smasher's room. Smasher gets real annoyed, and then all of a sudden, boom, and then you go through and try to solve the problem. You got stuck underneath some cushions, which I guess continues to happen.
Yeah, I think just in this alternate timeline, there is none of that. I think in timeline B, Kyle just got on the train, was with all the other passengers, things went boom,
and then you
Kyle,
head to the front to try to figure it out.
And Kyle was like, I guess this is my job. I guess I'm the kind of person who deals with these things, and goes and deals with it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
So Kyle just like either like never meets Smasher or like at some point meets Smasher through like Snow or Aaron or something.
Yeah, I don't think you would have met Smasher in this instance.
Yeah.
Because you go through everything, and
so
Adam would have been the one
Smasher is the one character who Kyle's like, I know you, but you don't know me. But also Smasher is a famous athlete, so that's just any fan interaction.
Yeah, I guess there's some people the boat's a weird instance because you kind of know everyone vaguely from that. I think Ralph had some like,
Yeah,
specific
yeah. I think everyone that like
relationships.
Kyle, that Ralph would have met on the boat, that Kyle didn't. Kyle would have met in his investigation.
Yeah. So that's fine there. Your parents, those are standard folks. There's a there's a
Kyle just
one-time
doesn't know
use.
his own parents anymore.
There's a one-time use of a Rampardos that owned a sports memorabilia store. That guy you don't know.
Nope.
You'd know them. Those are other guild members. You know Susie. You would know Susie through Atlas as opposed to knowing Susie through the daycare.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know, Kyle would know Susie through being a member of the Bronze Roses.
Right. Yeah, the sock is not an instance there. There's a teacher named a Blissey teacher that you wouldn't know in this instance.
Yeah, no.
Those guys don't matter. This is a second guild. You would know everyone here. The judges don't matter. The contestants don't matter.
Yeah, there's no characters of consequence, I don't think.
You would still know them. Those guys don't matter. You would still meet them. You would know them. You would still end up dealing with them. Just you would know them. You would know them. You know this person and that person.
Yeah, because like Kyle and Ralph never split up beyond solo episodes.
Right.
So it's only the people Ralph interacted with in his solo episodes.
Which is very few.
Which is
because Ralph's solo episodes were very much I'm gonna recap something.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
redo something.
Yeah.
With the rare instance of the dojo thing. That you guys are hanging out there. Yeah, so it's basically Smasher, you know vaguely from like a newspaper, or maybe Adam pointed it out once. You don't know the dojo, and who else did I mention? There was one more person.
The Rampardos, but
The Rampardos doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. Everybody else you pretty much know.
Yep.
Cool. That's great. I'm very glad. This is
So
gonna sound bad.
we've reconciled all the plot. We've reconciled all the character relationships.
Correct. Experience. Apologies. You're just gonna suck. Got it. I'm not going through every battle and being like, all right, we're just gonna carry all the experience points here. No,
Okay, but think about it. Think about it. Right. So Kyle and Ralph were splitting experience for every battle that they did together equally.
Correct.
Right. It was 50-50.
Correct. More or less.
Can't we just like guesstimate and give Ralph a bump on experience? Or give Kyle a bump on experience? Because like there weren't many battles that Kyle did on his own without Ralph. In fact, there were many battles, or a fair number of battles, that Ralph got experience and Kyle didn't. So what if we just guesstimated?
Or what if we don't and I stay sane for this episode? No, stay your level whatever you are self.
Whack. I wanted some power scaling. Just a little bit. Like I don't need that much. Like I have what? 1898 total experience. What if we just get that up to like 2500?
All right, you know what? Here's what we'll do. Since Ralph won more battle, does that matter? I don't know if that matters. What is a level 5's? Can you check that out real quick? What is level 5 experience points?
Level 5 on
that's what you started as, correct?
Chart is 60.
How much?
60. 60. No, sorry, 100.
100. Okay. Oh no, because you went through the initial parts there. All right, so you would have stayed consistent in the early parts because you went through Arc 0 together. So I'm gonna say that's like level 7-ish that you probably exit out of that. So from level 7. All right, let's pull up some docs here.
Well, so okay, level 7 is
210.
roughly. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say 200.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the chart right here. So you reached level 7 at 210. I'm gonna say I don't think this is right, but we're gonna roll with it. You were about 210ish when you exit the guild tryout related stuff.
Okay, sure. So all the adventure stuff was a total of 1898 minus 210, 1688 experience gained through the adventure.
1688 through the adventure. Okay, so
what if we just
right
like multiply by like 1.25?
10. Okay, so Ralph.
I'm not even asking for a big increase. I'm just asking for a little.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like a decent number. So Ralph had 1667 more than 210 because he's at 1877 right now. So if we take this
So if we take the difference between Ralph and Kyle, take it away from what Kyle has, okay, so the amount Kyle gained minus the amount Ralph got on his own, and then
Right,
double that.
so the amount that Ralph would have gotten on his own would have been like occasional battles here and there.
And also battles where Kyle got KO'd and Ralph did not.
Right. But you would have done the KOing there in those instances. But you would have had someone assisting you maybe half the time. All right, what if we just do this? How much would this give you? This is probably going to blow you up in experience.
Like, so
because technically
Kyle-
speaking, all these experience points would go to you, and then we would just pull out the ones that don't. So
we also got to factor in, like, Ralph had some donuts.
oh, the donuts, right? The donuts messed everything
So,
up. And
so
how much does donut
okay,
give?
this is here's a fair way to do this. Kyle gained 1688. How much more did Ralph gain?
Hold up, let me find my thing here. So over level 7 is 1667.
1667 Ralph gained?
Yeah, because it's at
Wait,
1877 now.
Wait, Ralph's at what?
1877 now.
Kyle's at 1898. How did this
Yeah,
happen?
you caught up to him at some
I
point.
passed
You
him.
went, yeah, you passed him at some point. I remember this.
Okay. So how about just however much experience Ralph gained, which was what? 16 what?
67.
1667? What if we just take a quarter of that and give it to Ralph as a guesstimate?
Sure, I don't think this is whatever. All right, there's some in-universe explanation for why.
Well, the
experience
in-universe
levels
the in-universe explanation would just be that, like,
other
hey,
people have
before Kyle and Ralph fought Regigigas in Timeline A, in Timeline B, Kyle soloed it. In Timeline A, Kyle and Ralph beat up Zoroark.
Well, no,
in
no, not
Timeline
that.
B,
I feel like
Kyle soloed it.
Technically speaking, I feel like the experience level should be like 1500, because you would have done everything Ralph did, minus a donut here, a random battle there.
Yeah,
But because
but there were some battles, like especially some major battles that we established that Kyle did not solo in Timeline B,
all right, the
and
big
he would
thing
have
we
gotten
gotta
the
figure
same
out,
share.
the big thing that's important, how much are those donuts? All right, we'll do that. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want.
How many donuts did Ralph have?
He had 2, please.
Two donuts? That's like
So he had 2
100.
mega donuts, so that's 100 XP right there. There was an Alolan Executor at some point. I'm gonna cut off that. There was let's see, you lost that battle, so that doesn't matter. He went back. He beat those 3 again, so that's gonna be like. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna regret this later, but who cares? Add 1,000 experience points.
That I will. That's more than I was asking for. I'll take it. So, 2898. So I guess Kyle, through like his timeline merging, just somehow gained 5 levels.
Basically.
Also, that was around the number that I was thinking, anyways, in terms of like number of levels gained.
All right, sweet. So now we gotta adjust stat wise. So go ahead and add your stats.
Yeah. So I get stats to distribute in various places.
Can you let me know what level you are now?
24.
All right, what level you were before and now?
I was 19. Now I'm 24. Which I think this.
Ooh, you gonna love this. Based on current setup, this is Generation 8.
Oh wait, moves.
Yep, you get to learn Giga Train
Oh, let's
and
go.
Slam.
And okay. So immediately, first off, I think the fact that Kyle never mastered Mega Drain means he will absolutely learn Giga Drain and just replace Mega Drain with Giga Drain.
Yep, sure.
Okay, that's easy. And now, Slam versus Assurance, which would be better? How much power does Slam have?
It's 80 power here, so that's an 8 damage base.
Which is what on the damage dice?
Let's look this up. Damage dice. 8 is 2d8 plus 10.
2d8 plus 10.
It does have a higher accuracy to meet, and also has the effect of something.
Effective paralysis, I believe. Paralysis on 19 up, I believe.
Oh, it doesn't.
No?
Nope.
Oh, that's Body Slam.
Yeah, Body Slam has the paralysis. Slam is just slam.
Okay. The question is, would I replace Because now the 5 moves Kyle has. Kyle has mastered Detect, Leafage, and Quick Attack. And Kyle has Giga Drain. And Kyle has Assurance. Would Kyle replace Leafage with Slam? I guess we have no notion of Stab.
There's no stab.
There's no notion of Stab, which means the only advantage Leafage has over Slam would just be it's a grass type move, so it hits different types. But normal type attacks are good for coverage.
And if you're looking for a grass type move at all, then you have the Giga Drain.
Yes, although like the whole thing before was Leafage and Mega Drain were similar base power, and it was just all right, physical attack or special attack.
Yes, right.
I guess Kyle would replace Leafage with Slam. I guess because especially since Kyle has now mastered Quick Attack.
That is true, right? So now you have that physical move you can do. You have a physical move you can't do. A special move you can't. You have a special you can? Or no, or you're just a physical Trico.
Well, Kyle.
Assurance at that point, right?
Yeah. So right now, Kyle has mastered Detect and Quick Attack.
Detect, that's it.
And has not mastered Assurance and Slam and Giga Drain.
Great. So you are walking out of here with so much more information and so confused on how to do anything.
Yeah. Kyle all of a sudden is just like Kyle like falls into the bush, gets up, his tail hits the ground and causes like a minor earthquake, and it's like, oh,
I can do that now. Okay.
I can do this.
Okay.
Except it only hits half the time.
Yeah, basically. All right, that is that.
Okay, that's that, and then I just need to adjust stats.
Yep. You know the whole drill. Add.
Yep.
3 times. Da 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 da.
Well, so that's 5 levels. So I get what, 5 in attacking stats. So I guess we do 2 here, 2 here, and 1 here, and then 3 here and 2 here. I'm saying here like anyone can see anything.
That makes perfect sense to me.
So I put 2 into attack, 3 into defense, 2 into special attack, 2 into special defense, and 1 into speed. Except the one I put into speed is I typed in 1 instead of typing in, is it 8? Whatever number makes the number good. Yes. There we go. So now Kyle has not garbage stats.
There we go. That's something. Great. So, we've taken care of the Kyle. We've taken care of experience. We've taken, like, the Kyle plot line. We've taken care of experience. We've taken care of moves. IQ is not changing because I don't think you're eating more gummies in this universe than the last one. Movesets have changed. Stats have changed. The only thing I can see left is items.
Yeah, I was... earlier when I was listing things off, I was stalling to see if there was anything else to get to before that, because I feel like that's the logical last thing to take care of.
Yep. Can you think of anything else at this point, or?
In terms of what's on the sheet, that's the only thing left. In terms of merging timeline knowledge, I think we've done a good enough job of that, and Kyle has direction to go in. We haven't really talked about we haven't really talked about how Kyle feels about everything, but also this all literally just happened. We'll process it as we go.
All of this entire hour-long conversation is happening in Kyle's head in about 30 milliseconds.
Yeah, like Kyle all of a sudden just knows everything.
Right. So,
which is, I think for Kyle is both, like, I think the immediate reaction of Kyle is like, oh my god, I know so much. And it's, wait, oh my goodness, I know so much.
Yeah.
Like the initial overwhelming of just having more knowledge, but then for Kyle, it's also like, I kind of like this. Basically, and there's this weird emotion of sadness in there that I didn't want to have, but hey, it's fine.
Great. So, there's one thing that I'm going to say here in this episode 0. We'll get to it in a moment. There's one thing that I'm going to say potentially in this episode 0 that may or may not exist in episode 1. I will point that out when I get to it, but for now, we will go to your items. How many item spots are open for you?
How many
some things I have to give you, and some things I ought to give you.
There are 4 slots open in my bag right now.
Great. Based on, I'm going to take the assumption here that Mansoor's information is accurate. I have to give you the golden mask.
Okay.
So that is in your bag.
Golden mask. Or no?
Okay. I have to give you the Book of Myths.
Oh, and that takes spot in a bag. Oh.
That does, technically.
Yeah, okay. 1 book of myths in the bag.
That's the only thing I have. Those are the only things I have to give you. So in Mansoor's bag right now, the elemental bell is still there. That's not here at this point. There's a link box which doesn't really, that can be thrown away, technically speaking. There's a huge apple that can be thrown away. He's still got an icy flute that's going to be disappearing. A violent seed. The frozen rock, you picked this up when you were diving in the ocean. This is used to evolve Eevee into Glaceon. This is an item that you did pick up in this universe, but you can figure that out. Okay, so here's what I'll say, because I know you stack items. He has 1 orange berry. You can add that to your list.
I actually am out of orange.
Okay, he has 1 cherry berry. You can add that to your list if you...
I don't have any cherry berries.
Okay, great. Then all of these are going to add up slots because, and this is the thing that may or may not exist in episode 1, I do not believe at any point in Arc 4, Ralph threw away the bottle.
I thought it broke.
I don't, because remember, it reforms all the time. He has to take this to a faraway land. I do not believe we touched on that point afterwards. And so, technically speaking, unless you can think of an instance in this case.
Because the last when did we last address the bottle?
The last time people at home, this is an episode 0, you can hear behind the scenes. The last thing that I have edited is episode 17 of the 3rd arc, so there is still 18 and 19 that I need to touch on.
Yes.
In the last 10 minutes of arc of the episode 19, there was no mention of the bottle.
In the last few minutes, there was no mention. I don't think in all of our episode 19 there was any mention.
I don't see any reason why in 18 you would mention the bottle again, because you would return back.
So what was the last that we left the bottle?
You were walking into the forest, and Mansoor asks me, "Hey, I still have the bottle, right?" "Yeah." "Is this far away?" "This is." "Okay." That's it.
Okay.
Because so here's why I say this, and this may or may not play a role in episode 1, which we'll record that after both of these episodes are done, if I'm not mistaken. If the bottle was still with Ralph when he Thanos snaps, you have the bottle at this point.
That doesn't get left in...
That does not get left in the past. That is one of these mandatory items that I am going to force into your hand.
Okay. So I guess I just have 1... What's it called?
I don't think we had an official name for this. It's just bottle. It's not in his bag, which is making me debate this.
When was the sheet last updated? Real behind the scenes here. You're about to get an exact date.
I don't, because you made a copy of this, so I need to go look at the original.
I can pull that up if you want.
Yeah, you can check that. I think it was the 17th, but I don't know if he erases the bottle or if it's just something else.
This is the... Yep, this is the right one. If I go to his stuff, his sheet, last updated on January 17th, which was the Monday of that weekend. So...
I think we were off on the 17th. That's why we were able to...
It was MLK Day.
Yeah. So it's there. I don't know if a prior edit shows the bottle existing or if he just had a mental note of that.
Yeah. I'm looking through the edit history now.
We could probably ask him, honestly, but time zones.
Time zones? You're in his time zone.
No, he's in Greenland, remember?
Oh. Right. That's only like a time zone over, though. I'm pretty sure Greenland's just in Atlantic time.
It depends on where in Greenland he's in, right?
Because
if he's west side, then sure. If he's east side, then that's like Paris time.
No, it's not. No.
Or
No. It's somewhere in between.
Oh wait, no, that'd be like West Ireland maybe at best.
Okay.
Let's look. While you do that, I'm gonna go look up where Greenland is on the map.
Yeah. That's an important question that needs to be answered. Okay.
No, it's like Iceland time.
I see the weird bottle in his inventory. In October, it got added.
That makes sense. Because we gave him a bottle in October.
And the bottle is still there, and it was removed. It was removed at it was removed like at the very end.
Okay.
He removed the weird bottle from his inventory when he added the elemental bell.
When he added the elemental bell, why did I give him the elemental bell?
On the same day.
Oh, I give him the elemental bell because he makes the wish to see Arceus. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So
I'm
you
going to
you did remove the bottle from his inventory.
I gotta remember why. So I guess, all right, so mental note, I guess, if the bottle actually does disappear, then you don't have the bottle anymore. That plot line's dead. If the bottle doesn't disappear, then you have the bottle. That's just a thing, I guess, to note down.
Okay, duly noted.
After that, you kind of just pick a couple of these items, whichever ones you feel like are most useful to you right now, of the remaining ones left over. Because those are the only mandatory ones I have to give you.
Okay. I think in all of this acquisition of stuff for Kyle in Timeline B, Kyle would, in Timeline B, would see the fiery drum and try to very quickly pop into Dreamland and put it away with the other items that he's already acquired.
Yeah, I well, for all intents and purposes, fire drum is now in Dreamworld, so you don't have to worry about holding on to that.
Okay, fiery drum is out of the inventory. I'm going to sort this by taking this and putting it at the bottom, if I can. I'm trying to sort my inventory. So, the Book of Myths is in here. I need to have it. The tarot deck is in here. I need to have it.
That's going to open up a whole can of worms that we haven't touched yet. Because you would think when I give you a tarot deck that I know what the tarot deck does.
Nope, you don't.
Nope. I had 6 months-ish to give it to figure it out.
Well, okay, to be fair, we know what it does. We just don't know what's going to happen when I use it.
Yes, that.
We
know what a tarot deck does. We don't know what this tarot deck does.
Well, no, we know what this tarot deck does.
Do we know what this tarot deck does?
We know that this tarot deck is something that once per day,
that part of it, yes.
Kyle can draw it and it'll tell him something that's going to happen.
Right. That part we do. What the cards are in the deck? No idea.
Oh, yeah. I just kind of assume that, like, Kyle draws a card and he just sees an image of an event that is going to happen in the day or something.
Draws a card, sees the Ace of Clubs. Great.
Oh!
You will be hit in the head with a club today. Huh.
Normally drawing an ace is, pretty good. I'm normally pretty happy when I see that, but this is not one of those cases. Okay. So, after that, I've got 3 slots in my bag.
Great. The items...
Because I don't have...
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Have I reached normal rank?
Yeah, you've reached normal.
Wait. When did I reach normal rank? It says
I'm almost positive you've reached normal rank at this point.
Where is my rank? Where is it listed?
I think I was keeping track of that.
Yeah.
You guys are... We're not level 8. Where is this kept track?
Yeah, where did we keep track of it?
This is recruitment. That's why I'm looking at the wrong page.
Because Mansoor on his sheet was keeping stuff in the normal rank section.
Right.
And I wasn't.
Huh.
Did we reach normal rank?
Not according to my list, but in the grand scheme of things, I just want to give you normal rank and make this easier.
Bro, did Mansoor just cheat? Are we uncovering a cheating scandal in the Not a Scratch universe? Did Ralph just have a second bag this whole time?
Although according to this list here, you could just move that over. That doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Alright. You
Oh wait, I have our guild points.
Cool.
I have our guild points on our sheet. I have 265.
If you have 265, then you have not reached normal yet.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter at the grand scheme. Alright, so here's what I'll say.
It matters for bag space.
Yeah, in your case, you are not in normal rank yet.
Okay. Which means I do only have the 10 spots in my bag, which means I only have 3 spots left.
Great. Cool.
And how many items do I have to deal with here?
Link Box, Huge Apple, Violent Seed, Frozen Rock, Orange Berry, Cherry Berry, Gold Bar.
1 gold bar.
1 gold bar. That's 7 different items. You could choose 3 of them.
Okay. Immediately, the orange berries are coming with me. How many is that?
It is uno orange berrio.
1 orange berry injected straight into my veins. So, I heard the Frozen Rock which I think could be really interesting and useful at some point potentially. I heard the gold bar, which has
It's just a straight up gold bar.
it's straight up gold bar. It has an express use in the old times, but in the current times, it could cause some absolute mayhem.
It's just a stack, bro.
It's a solid gold bar, which I'd imagine is a ton of poke.
At the worst case scenario, it is a decent bludgeoning weapon.
Yes. And then beyond that, it was just standard items, right? It was the huge apple, it was the violent seed, and it was more berries, right?
Yep. And
the berries being cherry and
that's it.
Wait.
You have the link box, huge apple,
and the link box.
Violent seed, frozen rock, cherry berry, gold bar.
I'm gonna take you know what? I'm gonna take the frozen rock and I'm gonna take the gold bar.
Bang. Gotcha. So the link box, the huge apple, the violent seed, and the cherry berry disappear in the mist.
Poof.
Cool. Great.
Into the ether.
Can
I swap out items?
Can you swap out items?
Can I ditch items I have for items that I shall receive? I mean, this would just be me like swapping around berries. And how many huge apples did he have?
He has one.
Oh, then yeah, no.
I'm gonna say yes. Why not? You're a solo person. Your adventure's gonna get worse. So.
All right. So, I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I want the cherry berry, so I'm gonna ditch my rost berry.
Okay.
And then there are 3 items left: the link box, the violent seed, and a huge apple.
Yep.
I'm gonna ditch. This is gonna be risky. I'm gonna ditch my chesto berry for the huge apple. I feel like now that there's only one player, you're gonna actually keep track of Belly.
Who, me? What? No, never.
That's all the info I need. And the link box I don't need, and the violent seed. Let's do. Does it go boom?
It raises attack and special attack by 2 each until you leave a dungeon.
Huh?
Yeah, so it's a temporary boost in a dungeon.
It's +2/+2. That is not insignificant considering my attack and my special attack are 18.
It is damage.
It is free damage. All right, I'm replacing the cherry berry with the violent seed.
Cool, gotcha.
And that is it for inventory management. We're done.
Great. Everything else gets wiped at this point?
Yes.
Awesome.
I am satisfied with my care.
Great. That is everything we can steal from Ralph at this point. Right? Yep.
Yep, that was the only thing left was the link box. The only thing I didn't touch was the link box.
Yep, so that goes. I don't need you open anymore. Great. So, we've been recording for about an hour and a half, basically just recapping stuff. Which
this
honestly
is just Arc 5 Episode 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to Arc 5 Episode 0, where we just chat about stuff. Do you have any questions for me? Anything at all? And I will attempt to answer them or throw it back to you to give an answer. Because honestly, now that it's just us two, I gotta involve you a little bit more in the world creation aspect of it.
Yeah. Wait. So this means in Arc 4, when I was taking control of the ship.
On purpose. How's that?
I was gonna say you allowed it to happen, and it was you're okay with it, and I didn't ruin everything. I'll take it. That's a dub.
Yes. Although I will point out that in this, now that we've merged the timelines, Arc 4 kind of gets shoved in there a little bit, but it still happens. Which
Arc
means
4 is like Arc 4. A lot of it's timeline C.
So there's,
I guess Arc line A1 or time.
Yes. Yeah. In other words, it does happen, which means you have still technically taken the legendary items from yourself in this universe.
Yeah, but we also established at some point that all the items were. This is the part that confuses me because we established that right now in timeline B, where we're at right now, I need to pull up my notes real quick. My thing is loading because it's converting from a Word doc. I need to zoom the page in so I can see. The Grace Adia flower, the
Greasy Flower is not an
Not
item.
the Greasy Flower, sorry.
Yeah.
The grass cornet,
Right.
the icy flute, and the
Right.
fiery drum
Correct. Well, no. So
are all in Kyle's room in the dream world right now, where we are in timeline B.
now that they have merged, the millisecond after they merge, those three are in your room. Correct.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
Kyle just put the fiery drum that he acquired from timeline A, Kyle, into the dream world as he was doing inventory management and merging all the items he had
Correct.
from timeline A and timeline B.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you currently have 3 legendary items. Yes.
Yes.
However, the action of you in the extended timeline. Okay.
Oh
so
god, the Not a Scratch extended
that part.
cinematic universe.
So that part is still shoved in there in the same way that the dream world happens in time but appears as like a flash or a second in real world. The entirety of Arc 4 was about 3 minutes maybe, which is shoved in there in this timeline, which means you have gone back you've gone back to the future to steal your items from yourself at some point because of whatever action you decide to take, then went back to the past, at which point all those items just go flying all over the place. You use some of them, you appear back, those items get zapped. I'm going to make the executive decision. Arceus does something with them. That's right. Go to the one higher power that can control things.
Yeah, the one thing that can restore balance.
Arceus decides to snap its fingers and restores balance in the universe. Except after that happens, Victini gives Keldeo the fiery drum, which immediately gives you, at which point you bounce back. That's effectively what happened there.
Okay, cool.
And then poof here, timeline merge. I have a fiery drum. Put it there. I hope no one steals my items in the future. We'll see what happens. If the timeline makes sense then.
That whole Arc 4 like blip. That was in timeline A, that might have been like a few minutes, who knows? Timeline A is kind of abandoned at this point. In timeline B, that was like 30 seconds. Like Kyle like stepped out the door, Celebi showed up, boom, it all happens. Right?
Yes.
Like in timeline B, right now, Kyle has stepped out the door.
Yeah, Celebi shows up, is like, hey, can you walk with me real quick? I got a great conversation. You're like, wow, you're Celebi. I know, great. And you just stand by this bush real quick. Just stand there. Don't move. You'll understand. Then Celebi puffs out. You wait for a few seconds. Just like, what is Celebi talking? Oh my gosh, I know everything.
Yeah, and head rush falls into bush, and that is where we'll end this episode.
Yes. Speaking of, is that where we will end this episode? Are there anything else? Any questions?
I know that was very abrupt. Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like that is where we can kind of leave things off, because I feel like we have all the major questions answered, all of the major conflicts, or not conflicts, but contradictions, I guess, resolved. Like, the only questions left are what now?
And that's where we'll go to find out in the actual episode 1, that away. Points in direction of the next episode, depending on your podcast player.
You see the next button, or if you're on the website, you scroll down, or if you're looking at the list of the episodes, you scroll down or up, depending what direction your episodes are in, or if it hasn't come out yet, you just stare into the empty void.
Find out more there. That does probably wrap things up, I think. Maybe. You know what? Here's what I'll do. If any of you want to test my timeline theory thing, feel free. Ask questions in the Discord. I'm answering them now. Now, of course, meaning now when this comes out and then you get to this point in the episode. But now, I'm answering them. Any questions about the timeline, toss it to me. Whatever I say goes, except if Muhammad says it, because it probably goes in that instance too, unless I say something that overpowers it, but I probably won't.
Yeah, we'll if we have a disagreement, we will have a moderated debate.
Available on Patreon.
We'll have a moderated. I was gonna say we'll have it live on the Discord.
Or that
we'll have a moderated debate live on the Discord, and at the end of said debate, it will be put up to a vote of who is correct and brought the best logical.
You know what? That's probably a solid idea. If you guys want to check out the debate, join the Discord, pop in. Throw some incendiary comment that suggests that the timeline I made is incorrect, as if that's ever possible. And then, Muhammad and I will do some. Yeah,
we will live debate. If there is something that warrants a live debate if there's something that pokes a hole in the Not a Scratch extended cinematic universe, that warrants a live debate in order to resolve it, we will do it. I'm committing us to this.
Them be facts, though. Cool. That does probably wrap things up unless you have any pertinent questions that you can think of.
Nope.
All right. So as we end this episode the way that we started, I'm gonna give a little segment, a little flash into it. So, Kyle, you're standing still. Celeby's just come to you saying, "Hey, stand by the wall real quick. You'll understand later." Your reaction, presumably, huh? But also,
Well,
it's Celeby.
Yeah, I feel like Kyle, right? Like Celebi comes out as like Kyle. Celebi somehow got Kyle's attention. I forget how exactly.
Well, it's Celeby knocks on the door.
Celebi knocks on the. Kyle opens the door. Sees Celebi, is just like in awe. Is just like, huh?
Hey,
And-
hey. Yeah, well, let's get used to this. We're gonna have to get back into the thing of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle. Nice to meet you for the first time, right?
Kyle just like jaw open, like turns like as if to like, see like if some like turns as if to be like, if like, are you seeing this? And like Zendoran isn't in the room, and Kyle just turns back and just like,
yeah, Sindoran's getting tea. I guess Manaphy's in the room probably.
Yeah, is Manaphy like in Kyle's bag, like in the room? Or no, Manaphy's just sitting in the room right now.
Yeah, Manaphy's sitting in the room. I think looking at pictures right now.
So Manaphy's distracted. Zendoran's in the other room, and Kyle's just turning back, just like,
Yeah,
you're
great. Great conversation. Do you mind, really quick? I'd love to have a better conversation with you later, but for now, something extremely important has come, and I need your assistance. It'll take maybe a minute max.
At this point, has Kyle? No, they have met legendary Pokemon at this point. Yeah, so Kyle's just like, absolutely, totally. Whatever you need me to do.
Great. Kyle, we can't end this episode without a roll. Make an insight roll.
Make an insight roll. Oh boy.
Insight would be beauty.
Beauty, which at this point for Kyle is still the -1 modifier. Survey says 13.
13, a mixed success. You can see right now Celebi is going through a Rolodex in their head. Like almost like a checklist, but you're not 100% sure why.
Okay. I think Kyle's, as he's like stepping out the door, and like I guess Celebi's just like leading him wherever he needs to go. And Celebi just said real quick, so it's like, so what exactly, is there something I can like help you with, or?
Yes. Like all of a sudden Celebi's just got it. Yes. I need you. This is gonna sound really weird, but I promise you, after this like minute and a half, everything will make sense. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
What
I
is
need
it?
you to grab your bag and Manaphy, and come outside with me.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Whatever you say. And Kyle just like runs inside, and I guess just like yells into the kitchen, just like, I'll be back in a second, real quick, and just grabs the bag and grabs Manaphy and just.
Yeah, you just hear a voice be like, "Okay, sure." Yeah. So, follow me. Like walks you outside. Celebi doing their best, trying not to be seen. Has some like twigs and stuff.
Yeah. Kyle is like, kind of like in disbelief, looking at the disguise. It's like, this is the great Celebi, and this is, you know what? Sure, I trust it.
Look, I'll be honest. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this.
Yeah, I guess as they're walking, Kyle's just like, I guess Kyle steps out. It's like, okay, so, we were about to go somewhere. What do you need me to do? What's happening?
I guess
you're Celebi. What? Huh? What? Why are you asking me?
Yes. No. So here's what I'm gonna say. None of this is gonna make any sense until after it happens, okay? And frankly, that's part of the timeline sort of situation thing. I'd go into detail to explain it to you, but honestly, I am running out of time. So what I need you to do, timelines are about to merge, and it impacts you two. So what I need you to do is step out and stand right there, and just points like near a bush on the side of Sindoran's house.
Am I about to time? Wait, what? Kyle's like walking over. And he's like, am I about to time travel? What? What's it?
Are you about to time travel? No?
Okay.
You could tell
Cool.
like, Celebi says like, last time I had a conversation about time travel with Kyle, they didn't like it. So why don't I not say that?
Yeah, Kyle's just like, okay, cool. Yeah. Anything else I can do? You know, is there anything else I can do? Is there any way I can help you? You seem to have a lot kind of going
Trust
on.
me, everything it's a lot right now, but all these pieces are about to fall into place. So I need you to stand there, put on your bag, make sure Manaphy's in the bag,
Kyle like does it as Celebi says it.
and you see Celebi slip something into the bag. Make a what would this be? Just like a perception check, I guess. Another beauty roll.
I guess, yeah. Oh, and that's a 3.
Slip something into the bag. Manaphy, clearly giving it to Manaphy. You understand that, but Manaphy just looks at this like, ooh, box. Like that's about as far as you get.
Okay.
Take that. And that's about it. I will see you sometime. Get it? Okay.
And now Kyle whoosh, head rush.
Yeah, Kyle, you just kind of
Falls
look
into
like,
bush.
huh? What's going on? Oh my gosh, falls into bush.
Yeah.
Um,
And I guess Kyle just kind of has to. Kyle just kind of gets up and looks around, sees if Celebi is like still there.
you do not see Celebi. You also have this vague inclination of somebody there. You can tell right now. You see in your head two different paths that you've taken to get to this exact same point. Both of them having similar
Oh.
steps, and they're slowly kind of merging together. There's some facts that are falling apart. You think to yourself, I remember very clearly me and Snow bopping into Shady Grove. And then you blink, and you remember you, some Machop, and Manaphy fighting off some sort of black creature in a castle. And then you blink again, and you see yourself at a baseball game eating some popcorn, watching a game that you're not very interested in. And then you blink again, you see yourself yelling at a Machop after they try to give you some sort of gummy outside of a house. And these things slowly merge together until eventually in your head, you remember, oh,
Right. That's Ralph. Uh-oh.
Ah, yes. And this is where we will end our episode.
Cool.
In the exact same spot we left it last time.
Oh,
Let's go.
We love 1.5-hour recording sessions with zero plot.
Yep. If you guys hated shopping episodes, you'll love this episode where we roll a die twice and do nothing.
Okay, but this episode both simultaneously had the least plot and the most plot of any episode we've recorded.
Absolutely.
Like on the one hand, the plot didn't progress at all. We left off exactly where we left off. On the other hand, we just went through the entirety of the show again.
Basically. And I kind of like how in both of these in this episode and last episode, we see the exact same like 6 to maybe like 10-minute sequence between Celebi knocks on your door and then you go through that exact same procedure, except one of them leads you going out and the other one leads your information, I guess, coming back in. I don't know. There's something poetic about that.
Yeah. There's something fitting about the fact that Arc 5 is starting the exact same way Arc 4 started.
Yep, it's the two timelines.
In the beautiful time loop that is the Not a Scratch universe.
Yep. If y'all think I ain't done with it, if you think I'm done with messing with the timeline, you do not know me. But that is where we will end episode 0. Thank you very much for listening to this. If you have, a lot of this was just explaining stuff. But hopefully listening to this gives at least some vague indication of what exactly is going on and how to progress forward.
Listening to this will make next episode make sense.
Basically,
so kudos to you.
Yeah, we're going to, and I'll mention this hopefully in the beginning of the next episode, but in the next episode, we're starting off with new timeline, new rules, everything's set up with how it is. We've got it all set up here, and probably we'll add things when the Discord updates over time. But thank you very much for listening. Very much appreciate all of your support, kindness, and all that other stuff. Thank you for supporting the show any way, shape, or form that you do. I have been your PM, your DM, your GM, Anirudh himself.
And I've been Muhammad, playing Kyle.
And for all of us at Not a Scratch Studios and for our correspondent in Greenland, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, take care.